Hi, my name is Regina Robinson, Media Director, Global Transfer Policy. Global Transfer Policy is a leading media house dedicated to exceptional news reporting, from breaking news to investigative journalism to transportation documentary. Today we bring you the clips of an exclusive interview with the MD/CEO of LAGFERRY, Honorable Ladi Balogun. Please stay tuned as you watch this expository interview. Do not touch that dial.
About the waterway transportation, the challenges and ways that those challenges can be coped.
Thank you so much. My name is AbdoulBaq. I'm the Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of Lagos State Ferry Services, LAGFERRY. This is a very fresh beginning for water transportation in Nigeria. We never had it so good until this administration came about, because of several interventions that we've had, both in the water transportation infrastructure, and even in terms of commercial operation, and increased participation of the private sector. So the sector is just opening up with a lot of potentials yet to be tapped. But be that as it may, one thing that key to having a very efficient water transportation system is the availability of the infrastructure and the environment. When the environment is conducive for businesses, of course, business will thrive. So it's not the water transportation issue is not isolated like other businesses as well. So one key thing that Mr. Governor Babajide Olusola focus on is to provide the enabling environment, so that it can create a kind of sustainable water transportation businesses in Lagos State. One thing that needs to be done is to have what we call jetties, terminals, just like your normal bus stops, just like your normal rail stations. When you don't have all this thing, there is no way. Other thing, you can have your boat. When you go to batch your boat, you need a dock. Okay? So when passengers are coming, they need a terminal where they're going to stay. So these are the things that Mr. Governor conceptualized and tried to put in place. And that's what he has been very consistent and very intentional about since 2019 when he came on board. So because it's not accidental for him, just 6 months after being sworn in as governor of the state, he went into action straight and got 8 votes for Lagos State Ferry Services, because he knew quite alright that moving 20 million negotiation on the road is not possible. And for a fact, 1/3 of Lagos State landmass is covered by water. So how are you going to utilize that waterways? That's the concern of Mr. Governor. So you want to see the interconnectivity of the road to the water to the rail. So everything has been doing about transportation sector and to manage the traffic situation in Lagos State has been very, very, intentional. He's very, very intentional about it, and he is very pragmatic about the approaches. So that's why he was able to deliver the Blue Rail line in the history of Lagos State. Yes, it's been in the pipeline for the past 20 years. The actual blueprint was done by the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu when he was governor of the state. We call it Strategic Transportation Master Plan, STMP. So the STMP has been in place since the year 2000. So it's just for the successive government, to implement and carry out those things that were in the blueprint. So Mr. Governor is so much dedicated, and you want to see the realization of this objective will be a pivotal to the growth of the Lagos State to the next level. Our population keep increasing on a daily basis. So what are we going to do to ensure the mobility, efficient mobility of the people? We have the abundance of the waterways. What are we going to do with it? Of course, the rail need to work so that the businesses and the people can be moving seamlessly. The same thing with the VRT system. So all these things are very, very germane to the overall development and growth, economic growth of Lagos State. So for us in this sector where I'm playing, there's this development agenda of Mr. Governor Babajide Olusola Teams Plus. The very first pillar of development is traffic management and transportation, and that's where LAGFERRY is playing its role. Water transportation, particularly the commercial operation of water ferry. For the first time in the history of this country, even let me say West Africa, we have a subnational government that has a total of 20 boats in its fleet. It never happened before. That's why I say Mr. Governor is very intentional about all this. And he gave us a very methodical approach to this, achieving it in sequences and phases. Because all the boats he acquired for us in the year 2020, we started the procurement process in 2019. It was delivered in 2020. And we actually had our commercial operation launching and commission of those new boats in February 2020. All the boats were produced were locally manufactured. All of them are manufactured in Lagos State. We can engage a company in the Lupeju, we engage another company in Epe, and they deliver the 8 boats for us. Mr. Governor promised that if Lagosians see this as a new development for them, a way of life for them to be transporting on the waterway, then it's going to increase the capacity of Lagos State ferry services in the next 1 year. It did. He kept his promise. In 2021, we commissioned an additional 7 boats. So 7 boats plus another 8, that's 15, and we had 5 before, making 20. So that's what translated into the efficiency, the innovative approach, and setting the pace for other water transportation sector player in Lagos State, particularly the private sector, because Lagos State ferry services have been able to raise the bar, and we are setting the standard for other people that are coming into the businesses. And we are hoping of the vistas of opportunity, demonstrating the capacity and capability of Lagos State government to actually do what you see in Amsterdam, what you see in Cairo, what you see in Dubai, what you see in River Thames in London, what you see in Venice in Italy. So those are the things that we are trying to put in place. When you go to Turkey, you see boats moving, a canal were dug, dredged, so that boats can go in there and take people from one place to another. So that is exactly the dream of Mr. Governor, that the Lagos of 21st century, we still see the rail working, we still see the waterway working, and we still see the BRT system of the road working. So that's where we are today. These are not coming without its own challenges, of course. We have increased our advocacy and sensitization and awareness, because we need to see more people coming on the waterway. Because there used to be this water phobia among our people. But unfortunately, what people fail to understand and to realize is that the rate of accident on the road is much, much, much higher than the rate of accident on the waterway. I can tell you for free, in Lagos State this year, January to September that we are today, we have not had a single accident on the waterway. Yes. Because the regulators are doing their job, both the federal and the state regulators, they're doing their job very well. So, and they're checking the boats. We said we are setting the standard. So our SOP, standard operating procedure, is working in such a way that we cannot push out any boat that can endanger the lives of Lagosians. We can't do that. When we see that, this boat is not fit to sail today, we're going to put it out of operation immediately. And we make a proviso or a kind of, we devise another means of transporting people along that route. So for us to have developed from 5 routes in 2020 to 27 routes that we are operating today, I think is a plus to the administration of Mr. Governor Babajide Olusola. In terms of facility, infrastructure that need to be provided, we still have a long way to go. Yes, Mr. Governor delivered about 15 jetties between 2019 and 2023. He delivered about 20 jetties. 15 jetties. Ijebu-Egba, Liverpool, Apapa, Ajedo, Badagry, Tamina, Ibeshe, Igbogbo Bayeku, Badore, Ilashe, a lot of these judges were not there before. That's why I say Mr. Governor is very intentional about it. He knows where it's going, and he adopted a very methodical approaches so that he can deliver all these things as where he's supposed to be. There are other places that we need to get. As I'm speaking to you, the terminal, the ferry terminal in Ekwe is ready. We are still constructing that of Ibejuleki, and we are doing more in Eshe, also in Ibejuleki. That in Eshe, that will address the issues of the people around Dangote Refinery, Lekki Seaport, and the Lekki Free Trade Zone area. The Ishe terminal is very close to them over there. So we see a lot of activities, commercial activities going on there, and we know that, of course, this will increase the number of people that will need to be moving from one place to another, particularly considering the road traffic situation of Lekki Expressway. So those are the areas that we are trying to look at. Now, if you look at from Mile 2, where we are now, that is operational headquarters of Lagos Ferry Services, so Ikeja Airport, that is international airport in Ikeja, Muritala International Airport. We are trying to do a kind of connection so that from the waterway you can actually have access to airports without going on the road or going on the rail. So, but what we need to do at this point is to have our waterway dredged in order to take our boats and in order to create a seamless movement on the waterway. So dredging is one of the challenges that need to be addressed immediately in order for us to have seamless travel on the waterway. And also there's something we call channelization. It's just like you're having your road. When you're on the road, you have a dedicated BRT lane, you have a service lane, and you have the expressway. So channelization is also adopted to waterway as well. It will give you the green way, not the red way, marked by green light bulb on the waterway to show that this area is safe for you, deep enough to contain your boats or your ferry to take you from this place to another. So channelization, you don't fear off the channel. You must follow steadily the channel being provided for you. It's another thing that needs to be done on the waterway. Then we know that there are regulations that guiding our operations. We need to do more in terms of enforcement. No, not Lagos State Ferry Services now. I'm talking about private boat operators because government realized that we can't do it all alone. Well, what we're just demonstrating to the entire world is to show that there are investment opportunities in this area, and this is what Lagos State is opening up this economy for everybody to tap into. That's exactly what Lagos State Ferry Services do, because we are not in the business of ferry transportation to compete with the private sector. No. Actually, it's going to be the domain of the private sector to play. But we are just playing that little role to bring everybody together and to show them the standard way to operate. And this is what Lagos State is expecting from every ferry operator. So we need more jetties. We need more to do a lot of channelization. We need to do more of dredging. Those are the part of the challenges we have. And most importantly, when we do all these things, it's the people of Lagos State that we, patronize the services. That's where we need a lot of people, to drop the idea of water phobia, to take waterway as a way of life. That's why you see this waterway, the easy way of life. That's our new slogan in Lagos State Ferry Services.
That's quite impressive, I must say. And a whole lot is really happening, and it's good for that integration, ensuring a multimodal system. We're able to integrate the modes of transport. Now, that brings me to a fundamental question that has to do with using technology to power all of these integrations. There's this Lagos Revenue Portal. So I would like you to share further insight as to how you're managing technology to drive all of this, to ensure, especially ticketing and all of those other processes where this is required. So how have we been able to fare to ensure that every loopholes are also, you ensure that those loopholes are taken care of. So how are you managing all that?
Oh, okay. Thank you so much. This is it. When Mr. Governor appointed me in 2019, to lead Lagos State Ferry Services, one of the areas I identified that we need to work in is to see how we can infuse technology into our operations, so that we can, we can create a kind of very efficient transportation system. So what we did is to do away with anything that has to do with cash collection or paying for ticketing by cash by any customer. So we introduced what we call cashless transaction for our ticketing system. That was how we brought on board Touch and Pay. That's the company in charge of the cowrie card system. So our cowrie card, in fact, Lagos State Ferry Services pioneer the use of cowrie card for public transportation in Lagos State. Before the adoption by BRT, before the adoption by the train, the rail services. These are the things that we try to do to ensure that technology play a major role in revenue collection. And how does it work? For you to come into Lagos State Ferry Services boat, or for you to go on the rail, or for you to enter to go on the BRT bus, or to board the BRT buses, with your cowrie card, just like the way it's playing out in London with your Oyster card, you can go anywhere you want to go on the rail, on the BRT, even on the first mile and the last mile buses as well. Also, the same thing applies to the LAGFERRY, the e-hailing cab operation. With your cowrie card, you are good to go. So with the adoption of the cowrie card, we eliminate anything that has to do with cash transaction. And that helps us a lot, because everything that's being generated at that point, everything goes into the revenue portal you just mentioned, the Lagos State Revenue Portal. So we don't have any issue as far as that is concerned. So we're even happy that adoption of technology at that first phase of our life, before we even go into the commercial operation of ferry, it helps us a lot. And that's why we have been able to be on top of our game when it comes to revenue management in Lagos State Ferry Services. Also, adoption of technology led us into creation of e-fleet surveillance system and our e-fleet insurance for all our passengers. So how does this work? At the point of embarking on your journey on the waterway, when you get to our facility, that is the jetty or the terminus, the first thing you got to do is to use your cowrie card, tap in. So you are going from Ikorodu to CMS Marina. You're going to write down your name in the manifest. So when the manifest is complete, before all of you go to board, you'll be issued your life jacket. After fastening your life jacket, you'll be ushered into the boat to board your boat. So at that point, the manifest that has been created will be uploaded electronically, we create e-manifest onto the platform of insurance company. So as you are boarding the boat, our insurance partner will send you a message that you are welcome on board. You are being covered on this trip. Those are the part of the packages we put in place to create confidence in the minds of our passengers that whatever happens on the waterway, anytime I'm traveling on the waterway, particularly with Lagos State Ferry Services, I am safe. I am covered. There is insurance cover for me. That's one part of it. So the second part of it, of the e-fleet surveillance system, is all our boats, they have camera and they have tracking devices installed. So at our operation headquarters in Maitu here, we have a digitalized screen where we monitor the movement of our passengers and the movement of our boats every time 24/7. The real time. And we can actually tell you there's going to be a danger because we monitor the weather also through the system. We're going to show you, we'll take a walk for you to inspect the facility. We look at it, we get a weather report, and we look at the passengers' behavior, we look at our crew behavior. You know how they're attending to the passenger and how the captain is driving the boats. Then, is it the place that we asked you to go? Is it the route that has been dedicated to you that you went, or you went elsewhere? All these things are being monitored on daily basis 24/7 from our E4 surveillance system. Those are the adoption of technologies that were put in place that is aiding the efficiency of our operation, creating a smarter process and also, giving the confidence to all our passengers on coming on board the boat, and they see it, as gradually they are seeing it as part of their daily life. And we thank Mr. Governor for all the encouragement and the support he has given us so far.
That's really heartwarming. But we'd like you to deepen this conversation further by highlighting the key milestones. You've already mentioned a number of them, but we'd like to hear more that even Lagosians are probably not aware of.
I told you that we have 20 boats. It's never done by any national or African countries, Number two, we have taken on ridership over 2 million ridership in the 1,111 days of operation. If you take into consideration the COVID period when we shut down, if you look at the NSAS period when we had issue with the security in the place and we had to shut down all the facility belonging to state government, taking away all this, we have operated for a number of 1,111 days. And during this period, we have no issue of fatality, we have no issue of accident. We have had our lows as well. It's not all that, on the highs. We have our low period as well, but we thank God everything is being managed well. There's no casualty anywhere. There's no major accidents from us on the waterway. And also, all our boats are insured, just like all the passengers are insured on all the trips as well. We have taken a lot of innovative approaches to commercial operation of ferry. Because we look at, yes, the people of Lagos State matter. They are even central, key, integral to whatever that we are doing. Again, the businesses of Lagos must not be left out. Because there's a multiplier effect that if the businesses of Lagos are actually performing, and operating efficiently, the people of Lagos, there will be improvement in their well-being, and the indices of key index of how people are living, the standard of living, when being measured, going by the waterway is another way of increasing your productivity, and I would like you to try that. If you combine economic value of all the Super Eagles players together, it's going to give you like $30 billion. Yes, economic value of all the Super Eagles players. For the first time in the history of this country, the Super Eagles of Nigeria were transported from Factory Terminal, Falomo, to Port Novo, the Republic of Benin, to have a match World Cup qualifier. Listening to the testimony from the players, they enjoyed the trip by the waterway. Okay, number one. Then number two, they confessed that yes, it actually added to their productivity on the field of play. And of course, we won that match by 1-0. I will remember very well. Those are the part of things that we dovetail into other sectors. Apart from the regular transportation of the goods of the people of Lagos, we also do that to help the people in the sporting area. Another idea that we have put in place, and it has helping businesses, is cargo movement on the waterway. So we have done that creatively to help a lot of businesses that are having issues with their logistics on the road. They discovered that moving their trucks or moving their goods on the waterway is faster and less of issue, less stress, is stressless. There's no issue of stress there when they move on there. So a lot of companies like Dangote, like Bua, like Crown Flour Mill, like TICV Adimorisha is the largest of all our boats. This boat can actually take like 14 trucks, or I mean trucks, I mean the trailers, or you can take 20 SUV, or you can take like 25 sedan, your normal regular cars. So if you are not using it to move goods, you can actually use it to host social events. So the social event that we are doing we are holding on the badge, MV Adimo Orisha, that is actually catapulting Lagos as a tourism destination. After the Ignite Lagos social activities that we had on the waterway, we also had, during the Valentine, we had waterway edition of love, exclusively love Lagos on the water. We have a lot of dignitaries, a lot of celebrities that came to enjoy themselves on the water. And this is what we have the corporate world also present. During the Super Eagles, during the African Cup of Nations 2020, we pioneered another innovative idea of showing, telecasting the live match of the Super Eagles. We had the diplomats, we had the people from business world, we had the people from the entertainment world, we had the government officers, including Mr. Deputy Governor, who celebrated his 60th birthday today. He was on board on our boat to watch the Super Eagles versus Cote d'Ivoire match. And of course, Super Eagles won that match. So, because of that particular experience, we had a business proposal from a company in Dubai that they never thought Africa can do this. This is the first time they have seen it being done in Africa because they have done it in Dubai before. So we are seeking way of collaborating commercially to see how we can build on that, to start generating for Lagos State and also increase the tourism potential of Lagos State on the waterway. Yes, we had Fuji Fusion. We localized this content, this creative content, by bringing in A-rated Fuji musicians on board, and we bond them together with Fuji lovers. We try to do that because we know this is Lagos State, it's a Yoruba state, and what is the musical genre of Lagos State from the days of yours? Is Fuji. So that's what, okay, let us try to promote our cultural heritage, but also include some kind of entertainment, and it comes with a lot of foods and drinks. People really, really enjoy themselves. It's another trailblazing effort of promoting tourism by Lagos State Ferry Services. These are part of the milestones that we've been able to achieve so far. And we can do, we can still do more, and we are coming up with a lot. We must thank Mr. Governor for all the support because he has been passionate about developing the water transportation sector, and he's so much into it to the extent that the rail, the waterways, and the road must work together to give us a functional 21st century economy of Lagos State. Because we all believe that yes, waterway is actually the next frontier for the Lagos State economy. You see the new Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy. Lagos State has already set the pace, even before the federal government came into that reality.
Okay, sir. We all know that the waterway transportation is fast and it has really decongested the road. So now, would you say that waterway transportation is the only solution to decongest Lagos Road?
Yes, it's not the only solution. It's part of the solution to decongest Lagos Road. Like I said, 25 million Lagosians cannot put themselves on the road on daily basis and expect a very zen environment. No, it cannot be. It's going to be chaotic. For anything that they call mega city, if you are qualified to be called a mega city, or United Nations is designating your city to be a mega city, there are certain things that need to be in place. One of these is the transportation pillars. You must be able to have, we're having the airports. Murtala Mohammed International Airport is a very government-owned airport. Okay? Now, Lagos State is part of the Strategic Transportation Master Plan, the blueprint I told you about, which is 24 years old now. There's going to be an airport at Lekki, built, owned by Lagos State government. It's part of the processes. This thing happens in other climes. You want to move from one city to another, you can move by rail, you can move by waterways, you can move by air, and you can go by the road. So all the four modes of transportation is what we actually put in place in Lagos. You can find it here. Lagos is very unique. Road, waterways, rail, and the airport, the airways. The four modes of transportation are actually what you find here. And we know that with this, I just told you about a route for the waterway from Mile 2 here that will end up at Murtala Mohammed International Airport via Ejigbo Isolo. So all we need to do in that area is to dredge. The route has been there, it's been mapped already. So after the dredging, we put it on our boat and we sensitize the public. You don't need to go far, you don't need to go on the road for you to go to the airport from Mile 2 or from or from CMS or from the island. So those are the things that we are trying to do. It's a combination of all this mode of transportation that actually lead to ease of congestion on the road. Okay, I need to say this. Part of our strategic initiative that I told you that we're going to do more is to see how we can create what we call water taxi. And this will be dedicated to Lekki Epe access of Lagos State in order to decongest the traffic on that route, on that access. We reckon with the fact that yes, there is Dangote refinery, there is Lekki DSP port, there is Lekki Free Trade Zone, there are about 150 estates, plus estates, luxury estates along that access. So a lot of people are migrating toward that side. New settlements are springing up on a daily basis. So what do we do to aid their mobility and transportation? The best thing for us is to make use of the waterway. And that's why we are coming up with this water taxi. We are going to be operating it between the hour of 6 a.m. to the hour of 6 p.m. on daily basis. When people got to know about this, and they are dropping their cars at the terminal at Ibejuleki, or at Songotedo, or at Badore, or at Lekki, so that they move to Lekki, they move to CMS, they move to Aja, they move to Victoria Garden City, they move to Orange Island, they move to Bar Beach, they move to Atlantic City, Bar Beach, CMS, Ebutero, Apapa. You get it? So when you are coming to all these places, you don't need to go by the road again. Don't also forget that Mr. Government just came back from China with a lot of goods, part of which is the signing of MOU on Green Line Rail projects. Green Line Rail projects will start from iconic marina stations and it will end up at Lekki Industrial Zone. That's another way of saying that we decongest the road by taking advantage of all this other mode of transportation. Road is not just it. There are a lot of things coming up. Fort Mainland Bridge is coming up on that axis, linking Lekki to Epe to Redeem, Ikorodu to Redeem by the expressway. That is the Fort Mainland Bridge. You want to take a lot of traffic away from that axis as well. But the mandate came into us as Lagos State Ferry Services. We want to see how we can actually, with the water taxi initiative, strategic initiative, we'll be moving people as I went to. All you need to do is just tap in on your phone. I'm going from Lekki, from Songotedo. Of course, we can't come to you. You have to come to the terminal. So all these terminals are being created as we're speaking. Some of them are already existing. Some already are going through upgrade, and the new one are being constructed as I'm speaking to you. Just to make sure that on that access, the terminals and the jetties, we take it away from the stress of the traffic on Lekki Expressway.
So from now till 5 years, what are the plans of LAGFERRY to explore and maximize the potentials of the blue economy for the benefit of the Russians?
Okay, thank you so much. So what we have done in that area is to look at the 17 trillion blue economy potential, annual potential all over the world. What are we doing as a Lagos State to key into the blue economy? It's very good. The potential is very good. When you talk about blue, there are about 7 layers, or there are some 7 subsectors. But here in the marine transportation area, which we are into, is to see that apart from our normal transportation activities, I told you about the tourism activities that we are upping, that we are taking up and we are taking very far. Also, we are also looking at what can we contribute to our environment, because the climate change issue is a reality that is done on all of us. And for whatever we are doing, whatever activities we are engaging in, our ways of living, we have to be conscious of what are we doing. Not eating up the climate, but also contributing to mitigation or adaptation effects of the climate change activities. So for us at Lagos State Ferry Services, we are going to see how we are reducing our carbon emission. We are using fossil fuel to operate our engines now to power outputs. We're looking at phasing it away by moving to CNG and electric boats. And we already started that process already. We have gotten the executive council approval, and it's being driven by the Ministry of Transportation. At the end of the day, you will see us having like 200 boats on the waterway, because I told you this is a sector that just growing, that just opening up. So we need to do more in terms of collaboration with the private sector, because for us to get 200 boats on the waterway, I'm very sure that it's not only government that will fund that. It's going to be some private investment that can drive that as well. So we want to see LAGFERRY as an holding corporation, okay, overseeing the investment flow on the water transportation and tourism, coastal tourism in the state. Minding the fact that yes, we are contributing to environmental sustainability. And of course, I want to see, I'm praying and I'm working towards seeing that our human resource is top notch and they grow to become best of the best in terms of Lagos State civil service.
Okay, so sir, how many jetties are owned by LAGFERRY and how many are private public partnership in Lagos State?
We have several of them that are owned by Lagos State government. I just told you that 15 was commissioned last year, all of them. And we have some owned by NIWA, that's the federal government. We have one at Adas Jetty, that's the opposite to movie producing in Victoria Island, is owned by NIWA, that's federal government. Everything you see in CMS, Marina, is owned by NIWA, the federal government. But we have our own jetty also being constructed by Lagos State Ferry Services there at NIWA. It's an ultra modern jetty floating pontoon that belongs to Lagos State government as well. We have, go to the beach houses at the Ibeshe, at the Lashe, at Orange Island, at the Tapua Bay. You will see a lot of jetties that belongs to federal government, private sector, and the state government.
So sir, what's the relationship between LAGFERRY, LASWA, and you?
Very, very cordial. They are our regulators. We are one of the players in the industry, and they regulate the entire industry. So it's not only LAGFERRY that operating, they operate, they are regulating the entire industry. NIWA for federal government, LASWA for the state government. Lagos State Government Ferry Services is also an agency of the state, and we have very cordial, good working relationship with both regulators.
Okay, so how do you intend to further encourage private participation in water transportation?
By opening up the water sector, by opening up the sector more, by making it attractive for people to come in. Look at Omnibus initiative. 15 Omnibus was commissioned May 29 this year to make 1 year of the second term of Mr. Governor. 15 votes given to the private sector to encourage them to move out all this by the traditional boats away from the waterway, because that's not what we want to see on the Lagos waterway in the 21st century. So we need to move them away. All this issue of having, taking people, having accidents on the waterway and all this stuff. So that's why you won't see issue of boat mishap happening in Lagos State frequently like before. All this thing has been tamed because we have a systemic approach to it. Issue of safety regulations and the control and patrol by the enforcement arm of LASWA and the NIWA. So this thing has eradicated all this sort of, all these habits of overloading, overspeeding, picking passengers at unregulated places, working outside the regulated hours, during the night. All these things have been eradicated. These are the issues that you usually need to put yourself. So it's because all these people are coming together, the newer, so he encouraged the private sector. They see it. Oh, there's minimal accident there. What's the risk factor of going into this business? After they weigh and they balance it, they see that this is a sector that is the future of Nigeria, not only Lagos State. It's actually the blue economy is our next oil.
So what are the provisions within the waterway in Lagos that guarantee safety and effective navigation?
Our channel, our dredge channel, the standard boat that we just commissioned, and the standard boat being operated by Lagos State Ferry Services, The standard boats, omnibus that have been given to all the private operators to operate, to drive out all the motorway on the waterway. Just like when BRT came to take over from motorway on the road. So our new boats is the kind of things that provide comfort, and guarantee to the people of Lagos that yes, when I'm inside this boat, I am safe and I will arrive at my destination very smart and very fast.
Okay, so sir, are you responsible for the removal of wreck, scrap in our
Solely
waterways?
the responsibility of the regulators.
Okay, so while you were talking, I heard down something. You said that throughout this year in Lagos State, there's never been any boat mishap, no accident at all. That's a very good one. And so now, what do you think you are doing right that other states are not doing right? Because this year we lost a superstar to boat mishap. So what do you think Lagos State is doing right that other states are not doing right? What encourage them, tell them what.
You see, we have had a lot of states that come into Lagos State to study our model. We have made a lot of inputs into their way they can operate their water transportation over there. Like we have there's River Niger, there's River Benue. There's water tributaries flowing everywhere in Nigeria. Nigeria is so blessed, honestly. But how do we harness all this thing, to improve the life of the people? There are basic things that need to be done that are not being done. All you need to do is just to ensure that this thing is regulated and you keep to it, enforce the regulations. It's as simple as that. How can we, a billionaire, Dangote cannot come on my boat, on Lagos State ferry boat, without wearing life jacket. I will not allow him to be on that boat. My captain will not move. My captain are so experienced. They are highly skilled. They are well trained. And they are professionals. If a passenger out of 50 or 60 or 40 passengers or 30 passengers is not wearing his jacket properly fastened, my captains will not move. In fact, my deck can will move to you and help you to fasten it and wear the jacket for you. There are some avoidable deaths that we can actually, it prevents. But what are our people doing about it? All these things that you mentioned, you don't even have people monitoring the waterway. Before you do about 500, before you do 1 kilometer on our road, you will see marine corps, you will see water guards, you will see safety officers of Lagos State, not even federal government. Because we have the capacity in Lagos State. I said we are intentional about it. So we have the human capacity, we have the material capacity. We are the first to launch all those boats we are seeing. Look at, you can go and you can take your video to go and look at our boat over there, undergoing retrofitting. These are the standard boats you can see anywhere in the world. They are made of the best safety features you can think of in a boat. They are world-class boats. These are the things that are inspiring confidence in our passenger that instead of following the former canoe, they dump the canoe, instead of going by all these traditional fiber boats, body, they left it, they won't go there. When they see a standard boat that inspire confidence in them, that assure them of their safety. So it's about safety, regulation, and control. That is what is lacking in all these places, and they don't have standard boats. We have gone to several states to facilitate professional setup of water transportation system. Kogi, Nasarawa, Anambra. I've been to places. Kwara. But when there is will, of course there will be a way. So the first thing they need to do is to be intentional. I want to develop this sector. I don't want to waste people's life on this route or on this waterway again. What do I need to do? Put your infrastructure in place. Set up the agency. Train your people. Set up regulation. Enforce the regulation. I just told you the way we work on our e-manifest to provide insurance cover. You tap in with your character. You write it down in the manifest. When the manifest is complete, it will be transferred automatically, electronically into a platform that's being taken over by our insurance company. a message will be sent to you immediately that you are covered on this route, on this route that you are going now. And the next thing, our deckhand will come to you, wear your life jacket for you, fasten it for you, and they take you on board the boat. Our captain is already, the engine has started already, so they know you are wasting time. All of you move away from the terminal end mass and you are on board the boat, and the captain move. It's in minutes, you arrive at your destination safely. It's not magic. It's not magic at all. It's a process that you need to go through, and you need to, be very regulated and regimented about it. You should not manipulate the system. You should not try to circumvent the process. No. Just adhere to those principles. Set up your standard operation procedure, SOP, and follow it through. That's just it.
So, sir, are you getting enough budget to fund your agency and enhance efficiency?
I must be very frank with you. Mr. Governor is very, very supportive in that area. That's why we achieve what we're being able to do. Because we are showcasing the sector of the entire world for investment opportunity by the private sector. So we need to show them how we do things and who we are and the potentials for them to see.
That's that one. I will still take you back a bit. Talking about passenger cargo. So what are you doing to deepen the ecosystem, to encourage business people patronize that option, the waterways option, to move cargoes? Because it's even more lucrative in terms of business and endeavor.
Fantastic. You are very correct that it's more lucrative. In fact, 50 to 60%, 60 to 70% of our revenue is generated from that cargo movement. So what we do with the passenger movement is actually by the side. It's not so Lagos State government is subsidizing passengers movement heavily because they cannot pay for the actual cost. A kind of cost recovery undertaken by Mr. Governor or by the government. That's exactly the process, what is happening in the passenger movement. But for the cargo sector, this thing is being paid. They have their budget and they have the logistics set out, so they know what they incur when their trucks or their goods move on the road, and they know what they incur when they come by water. But they get faster access to the port. They get faster access to the terminal. But this is a sector we're still developing because if you look at the Lagos State transport policy, you will see that there is this issue about haulaging. There is an issue about having terminal at the outskirts, maybe one in a pair. You need to streamline the process also to discourage quacks from coming in. So professionals will come in, the investors will bring their money, and you know that the return on investment is there for them at the end of the day. So that's what we try to do. That's why Lagos State government intentionally launched the Lagos State transport policy to cater for everything about freighting system, about transportation system through the four mode of transportation I mentioned earlier. For us, we are growing, but we know that a greater Lagos is actually rising.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, what would you advise the federal government to do to address the holistic transport challenges in the economy?
The federal government can take a cue from Lagos State government by enacting or creating a national transport policy. But you know that transportation issue is not on the exclusive list on the constitution. It's actually a concurrent issue. Local government can handle it, state government can handle it, and federal government can handle it. So we have to come down to it and say that, okay, these are the things that we need to do. This has to do with water, this has to do with the airway. That's why you see a fund licensing state government to build the airports. Without fund doing that, that's part of regulatory framework that we're talking about. Just like you want to build your who owns the land anyway? The state government that owns the land. So this thing needs to be streamlined, and we need to come to the round table and put it up. But I know for a fact that federal government will do much more this time around because the pace setting symbol the person who actually laid the foundation of what we are seeing in Lagos State today is the one at the federal, at the end of the at the federal level. So I know that certainly is going to put up a very robust plan that will move, that will ensure the efficiency and the interconnectivity of the transportation system in Nigeria. He has started it anyway. You see the Calabar, Lagos Calabar Highway, you see the Sokoto Badagry Highway. So these are the things that we evolve all over. And before you know it, the multiplier effect will be felt by all the modes of transportation in the country.
Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Why are you stopping at so? There's a problem. Then we can send SOS around. That's one of the boats. That's one.
Which of the jetties?
Right now, this one should be in the Butero, right?
Oh.
The one on the left. This one at Palomo. That one is at Palomo.
Oh.
This one is at the Butero.
So it's monitored real time.
In real time, even as they are moving on the waterways, they are moving from Bakodo to Palomo. They can trace them through the map. So once it stops, just like normal, why are you stopping? Is anything wrong? You can easily send an SOS. This is what sets Lagos apart from, you understand? Yes, that's why we don't record accidents. And also, that's why has this same thing in their base at Palomo. They have this same, but their own is not on the boat, it's on the routes. They have cameras on the route, so they're able to see boats, not just our own, all private sector boats. And they have all the ambulances, water ambulances, rescue equipment. So if Lagos does that, we don't report dead accident. These are the reasons why. And if there is, like you said, we've had a few issues. If the boat stops on the way, you can send the boat down to go and transport the passengers. So there won't be any mishap. You won't have to sink or be applicable.
So other states need orientation.
That is just it. You cannot enter Lagos State boat without wearing your jacket. And once you are moving, last one has the enforcement team going around checking boats. And even your black jacket, once it's old, it's expired, they confiscate it and give you new ones. Don't do it, you don't even have to buy.
That's a very good one.
They go through, keep them and new as well.